Hello and welcome to the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and Global Community Facebook page. I'm Ginny Robertson, one of the hosts of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, and I'm also the founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. I said founder of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show. I meant to say founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and the founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. My guest today is financial literacy campaigner and life coach, Veronica Grey, and we'll be talking about how to reignite your life and live. Welcome, Veronica.
Oh, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Jenny, for welcoming me to this. I'm so looking forward to this. Thank you.
I am too. Thank you for being with me today, Veronica.
You're welcome.
Before we dive into our topic, though, I want to tell our viewers more about you. Veronica Grey is a mother of 2 young adults and a caregiver for her mother and sister. She is an entrepreneur, a financial literacy campaigner, and a life coach. She's also a licensed life and health insurance associate and has a background in human resources, rehabilitation counseling, and is an advocate for senior health care. Veronica's passion is working with women in crisis and helping to empower them. So Veronica, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate as well as a very diverse background in human services. So what brought you to coaching women?
So for me, coaching, working with women has always been a passion of mine. So from the early age, I've always been volunteering and working with women in crisis, and also because of my background, human resources, rehabilitation, counseling, I've seen women in crisis and I've just seen how they need help. Mm-hmm. And so with that, I've dedicated myself to do that. Also, when I look back at my life, being an immigrant from Jamaica to the US, I see how the different stages I had to go through in order to get my life back on track, also for myself and my 2 children. So with that, I'm really passionate about supporting women. Okay.
So your background taught you how to do this, and your life experiences told you why you wanted to do it, right?
Yes, great. That's it.
So you talk about the importance of knowing where we are, knowing where we want to be, and the steps we need to take to get there. So yes. What would you say to someone for that first step? Like, how do we start to know where we are? It takes a lot of self-honesty, does it not?
It does. And honestly, we know what to do, but we just don't do it. And sometimes we just feel so overwhelmed and we figure that we're almost like we're paralyzed by our fears and just not knowing what to do and being stuck. But I would say to someone is to first just sit, be by yourself, because a lot of time it's all about the crowd. It's all about what's going on around you, and you're not able to focus in on your life and what's going on because you're always being pulled in all different directions by the people around you. So I would say to someone, just be quiet, get by yourself, be centered, ask yourself some questions. What do I want? What is happening right now? What is happening in my health? What is happening in my wealth, which is my finances? Emotionally, what am I going through? And how does this make me feel? Because at the end of the day, it's that feeling that's going to propel you to whatever you do next. And so these are some of the questions I would say. Just be honest with yourself and first explore your life and see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. And I love that you say we have to get quiet, because that's not easy for everybody to actually get quiet. Be with our thoughts, be with our feelings, be with all the voices in our head, be with all the stuff, because we carry around a lot of junk in there. And so I think that's a great first step, is just get quiet and listen.
Yes.
Because do you think we also can use all that's going on around us as a distraction to not do that?
Yeah, I think a lot of time we do that. It's like we just take ourselves out of the situation, out of what's really going on with us, and we just focus on others. you know, and we're all about the crowd and the noise and whatever is happening around us. And when you get to the point at nights, especially when you close down or you leave the workplace, the children are sleeping, everybody else, some women will tell you, I've talked to women, they just cry, they just weep themselves to sleep because it was never about them. They had throughout the 24 hours in the day, they have not taken an hour to really look at themselves and see, what do I want? They feel like, you know, they didn't matter. People just move them going up and down. And it's always, I want this, I want that. People are just pulling from you, pulling from you, pulling from you. And then you end up with nothing. So that's one of the things. Yeah.
I like that you said that, because sometimes you don't have to be, you know, at the end of an exhausting day or laying in bed trying to go to sleep. As soon as you get quiet, sometimes those emotions are going to come up, that stuff and the feelings and the crying, which is a really good thing, isn't it?
It is. It is. And so this is what I do. You know, someone will ask you, so what do you do? You know, and it's always about just sharing my life, just sharing my story, and creating that space to have someone hear themselves, to listen. And sometimes it's just what's coming out of your mouth. Sometimes they're so couldn't believe that it came from them, the words that they're talking about themselves, because they've never sat down or had anyone say, what's wrong? What's happening? How are you? Because a lot of time we go up and down and we say, hi, how are you doing? I'm good. And you just keep going.
I'm fine. Yeah.
But if you really stop to ask that same person, hold their hand and say, how are you? It's a whole different thing.
Yeah. You let them
a simple touch. I've seen it where just by touching the person, say, how are you? Before they say a word, it's the tears.
Yeah.
And then you know there's so much going on. There's just so much more. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the first step was knowing where you are, and then the next step is where you want to be. And I remember a quote, and I don't remember who said it, but it's, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Yes.
And so can you say more about this? And I think that's also reinforcing what you said about you have to know where you are. You have to tell yourself the truth about where you are right now, or even if you know where you're going, you're not going to know how to get there.
Exactly. And it's also not just where you want to be, but why?
Yeah.
Why do I want to go there? And what does it mean for me being there? What does it mean? How does it make my life any better? Or how does it serve the other people in my life to get there? And what will it cost me if I don't get there? So when you know all these things, then you start to look at where you are and you look at the pieces, you explore all of it. It could be, say, coming from a financial side of it. You take a stock and you look at your bank account and you realize there's not much there. Then you ask yourself, what if I'm working, what if I can't go to work for 2-3 weeks? Or what if I have an illness that I can't work for months? Do I have enough? How do I support myself? And if you have young children, what if I should pass? How would their life be affected? Do I have a protection in place that will support them while I'm not here? So you have to look at all these things, what so and what if. And then from there, you look at the space between the what so and the where I want to be, and you look at the blocks that's going to get you there. So there are different things that's going to get you there. And it's just mean that you take one step at a time with a help and you move towards that. Yeah.
Thank you. Because whether you're looking at life in general or finances in particular, but how many people who have issues or in crisis don't also have financial issues, right? It's very common. but it can seem so overwhelming. Well, I kind of know where I am. I really know what I want to do, but it's so overwhelming. I don't know how to take that first step. And I love that you said, it's one block at a time. It's one step at a time. We can't fix it all right now.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to, we can't fix it all right now, but you never know when you take that step, what that's going to then uncover, right?
Exactly. It's just that first step. It takes you a good place. Yep. And there's a saying, sorry, I don't want to cut it. There's a saying that say, you cannot become yourself by yourself. You need support. You need support. So the good thing is to always be able to reach out to find that person who will be there with you while you go through this process. Yeah.
Since we're on a quote kick here, there's a Martin Luther King Jr. quote that says, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, probably, that you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step.
Exactly.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I know I read in your bio that your passion is particularly helping women who are in crisis.
Yeah.
Do you find it's harder for someone who is in that place of crisis? Because there's a difference between being, a bit dissatisfied with your life and, I know there's something more and I want to go find it now, than to be like in a crisis, which means my husband walked out or the bank is going to foreclose on our home or any of those things. Do you find it's more challenging when you work with women who are in deep crisis, to get them to that first stage of being willing to truth right now?
Yes, it is, because what happened too is that when someone or a particular woman is in crisis, it means that all hell are breaking loose. And it's at this point that you become so confused, you're anxious, you don't know what's happening, you don't know the next step, and all you can hear, I can't. And most time what I do at this point, the first thing I say is stop, breathe, because you just got to understand you're here, you're alive. That means anything is possible. Just breathe. And from there, I say, okay, let's see, what do you have? So if it's a case where she's not working, or I said, okay, let's look. What are your skills? What can we do? If you need resources, let's look at where you can get help from until you can get back on your feet. But if you just sit there and just be so in that mode where you're just so disoriented, you can't figure, nothing will happen. But if we just stop, one thing at a time, where am I? Can you eat tonight? Can you sleep? Is there a place for you to sleep tonight? All these things, we go step by step. And then from there, that's how we work through the crisis.
So sometimes she just needs somebody to hold her hand and tell her what's next, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Give her some hope. Yeah.
Yes.
You said something earlier, and I know you use this in your work a lot, of what's so, and you touched on that a little bit, but I love it when you say that. So what's so, and then what, right?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Okay, so I will kind of jump into my life. I'll use my life as an example for this.
Right.
So I'm from Jamaica. So when I got here, it was a whole different thing for me. And then I took my 2 kids, so I actually uprooted them and I brought them here. So now when you get here, you realize, oh, this is it's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. And so I'm coming from a corporate world. And then I got here and I realized corporate America was not gonna do for me what I'm used to. And so I won't make the money and I won't have the time to be with my kids. So then you have to now look, okay, this is what it is. You're in a different place. Now you got to figure out, how do you survive? So, okay, I understand that I'm coming from corporate world. That's not going to work right now, because what do I want? I need to earn and I need flexibility for my kids. I need time. So, okay, what can you do? All right, I did my research, and then someone told me about the CNA, And they said, okay, this is good because you can work night, you can work day, or you can just work weekends. And that made sense for me. So I did that. But then after you're in it, you start something, but that doesn't mean you have to stay there. Because then I question myself, there's no way I can leave from where I'm leaving from here and just come here and stay there. I got to get back up here, right? And so I figure out what next. Okay, let's go back to college. So I went back to college, and then that's a different phase. Then you got to look at it. And then I say again, I'm a people person. I'm always in that. So first of all, it was the nursing RN, because then I was doing the CNA, which makes sense. You're already in the nursing, but then that still was not me. I was more the person who focused on the mind, why a person think, how they think. So I always want to get to that point before you get to the sickness. So I was like, okay, that's not me. So then I did psychology, and I loved it because it allowed me to see the behavior of people and how I can work with people where they are and help them to work through their emotions and to get through the different stages. So again, that's it with what. So you got to take a look at what is happening. And if you don't want this, what then? And if you want the then, how do I move from the what so to the then? And there's always things out there to help you along the way. You got to first know where you are and what you want. And in so being, there's always support out there. So that's what I would say to someone. First, know what's so in your life. Is this what you want? Is it working for you? If not, what then? And then start, if you need help, reach out to someone who can help you get to that, but then move forward.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like that your example, because what you're also illustrating is that sometimes we do things in the interim that we don't want to do for the rest of our lives, but it solves the problem. It solves one of the problems right now. Your is it CNA, right?
Yeah.
Your CNA.
That was a stepping stone.
Yeah, it gave you what you needed in the moment. It gave you the income you needed, and it gave you time with your children, the flexibility. And so I think it's so important for women to know that they're not signing on for a lifelong sentence here with one thing.
Yeah.
It could be, as long as they're conscious and know that
Right.
I'm going to do this for a period of time until I feel like I feel into what's next for me.
Right.
So it doesn't need to be like a stopping point or a settling for kind of thing, right?
No. And then as I went on, I was introduced to different things. And that's why things like network, the on-purpose woman, it allows you to network with other women. It allows you to grow. It allows you to open up into conversation. And then that's how I was introduced into the financial world. And then when you got there, you learned that there was stuff that you didn't know. You didn't know. And it might have been, it's never too late, but it might have cost you more because of the time when you got into it, in terms of how your money worked and where to put your money. But what it also did was to educate me so that I could make sure that my kids are in a better position so that their investment life start earlier and they learn how money works, why you put money certain place and why not certain place. So this is a whole thing. A lot of time we find that we just stay in our box. We don't want to go out and network. We don't want to meet other people, do other things. We're just like from work to home, and we're just in our own little setting. But we need to branch out because this is how we learn and this is how we're able to explore, and others can see us for who we are and possibly help us to get to where we want to go,
Yes, that's such a great point. That's where a lot of the joy is.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think what you've been talking about then, because I know I read this on your form that you filled out as well, that you believe that we can reinvent ourselves at any time. I think that's what you're saying, just because
Yes.
you've chosen this. Do you think the key, though, is that we chose it? Because there's a tendency, let's say that you're working with a woman and she took this job because she got laid off of this job. So she took the first thing that came along, and now she's feeling like a victim. She's a victim of that job. She hates the job. It doesn't pay her enough money. Sometimes it's easier to stay in that space of hating it and being a victim than it is to go, okay, what can I do now? Rather than, there comes a comfort in there. Do you see that much where there's this comfort,
Yes.
even though
That
they're really
is,
uncomfortable, it's still
yes.
comfortable?
Yeah.
Say a little bit
But,
about
but
that.
you see, the thing about that too is that we need to always have vision for ourselves, have goals for ourselves. Because if you don't have a goal or a vision for yourself, then you can go anywhere, any direction, or you can sit still and never move. And again, through the On Purpose Woman, we meet other people who are into other stuff that teaches us. Like earlier today, we were on one of our sessions in the On Purpose Woman, where we talk about the human design, and so you figure that we have to know ourselves and know that whatever it is we think and feel that we want for our life, it is possible. It is possible, but you have to take that step. You have to always be thinking better, thinking of climbing, keep moving, keep moving. You're in this place now, but then what do you want in the long term? You have to have that vision for yourself. And once you have that vision, you will always keep moving towards it. But if you don't have it, what's next?
Right.
Yeah.
You're just in a spiral, really. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Veronica, what do you say to the woman who starts working with you and you start making suggestions, you start getting her to try some things, and she says things like, well, I tried that, it didn't work, or I don't think I can do that. I'm sure you've heard those things before. Does it take a while to sometimes turn them around a bit? How do you deal with that?
You see, one of the things for me is that when I talk to a woman, first and foremost, I sit in this quiet space. I create this quiet space. And what I want the person to talk. I want you to hear, because people will tell you about themselves. They will tell you what they're going through. But then again, they have to feel that comfort. They have to feel like you have earned the right to hear their story. And then once you're there and they're talking, and then you said, so I can't. It's like I have this lady and everything she said, it's a word I can't and I don't have seems to be the only word she knows. And so I'll say, let's shift from the I can't. What can you do? And when you take her back to some stuff that she did, you realize she can. She realized stuff that she did then, she can still do. And then she'll also say, I don't have. And my question always, what do you have? I'll say, you're breathing right now. That's a big thing. You're alive. And then we start explore the skills. What have you done in the past? What can you do? So this is some of the things that we have to really listen to people as they speak to us, because it's just their experience and their culture. And so they don't think otherwise. They're so used to people saying, I can't and I don't, and they just lock themselves there. But you just have to always be there to support them, to stand for them, to hold that bigger vision for them that they can't see right now, but you see it. And you help them to just reach to that point. Yeah.
And it's really, what you're doing is such a simple thing, but it's not easy. You're asking them to think something different. And it might be the first time in a while they've been jarred out of that space of complacency. Oh, it's just going to be like this forever, right?
Because remember, we're wonderfully created. The Creator has given us all that we need. It's just for us to tap into it. And a lot of time, we just need that support, that person to stand by to say, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes the same amount of energy to be in that stuck place as it does to move forward. Actually, I think it takes more energy to stay stuck, really.
Yes, yes,
We don't have
yes.
anything working with us to propel us forward at all.
I know. Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah. What do you love most about what you do?
It's just a feeling. When someone asks me, what's your hobby? And I'm always saying, just to be in good conversation.
Mm.
That's one of the key things I love to do. It's just to be there and to have someone talk and just to come up with some form of solution. And so that's what I love about what I do, is to just see someone move from a space of I can't to I can, or I don't to I do. Just to watch that, that's powerful.
Yeah. I know I miss in-person workshops, because one of the greatest hits I always get is if I'm just kind of guided as to a question to ask or a statement to make to a particular person, and I'll see this look come over them like, oh, I never thought of it that way before. Yes. Or that the just big light bulb just went off over their head, and that feeds me. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. Actually see that your words had an impact on someone's life, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Well, how would someone get in touch with you if they want to know more information? Or do you ever do like complimentary first sessions, or some people call them discovery sessions? How do you start a conversation with someone who might want to work with you?
I do. So what I do, always invite someone that they could reach out to me. And I love to have that first complimentary conversation, like at least half an hour, to just know the person. And for you to tell me where you are, and then we can schedule something else that we can be fully into the space. And in terms of that, most time is through email. My phone number, I just kind of switching around my web page, so they can still find it, but I don't think it is that working that well. So I first go by my phone number and my email address. And I also have a page, a group, which is Reignite Your Purpose and Live. That's the name of the group.
In Facebook?
Yes.
Reimagine Purpose and Live.
No, like your topic, reignite your
purpose. Oh, like at the top, okay.
Yeah. Reignite your purpose and live.
Okay. And then give everybody your phone number and your email address, if you don't mind.
So my email is vgtotalcare, which is V for Veronica, G for Grey, vgtotalcare@gmail.com. Yeah. Or 443-929-1140. Again, 443-929-1140.
I can see why people would want to work with you, Veronica, because you come across as so warm and so caring, and like you've got to be a great listener.
Yes.
And you just are with people. I see you as someone who can be with someone who can't be with themselves at the beginning, right?
Yes, that's the thing. And one of the key things to Jenny is that I've seen people, we're in a conversation and I'm just listening and they're talking. And at the end of it, they're saying, did I just say all of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that they were able to put it out there, it has been sitting here for so long. And the fact that they were able to say it aloud, they couldn't believe that they were feeling those feelings. Yeah.
I think it's also a big important thing that you listen, that nobody, I mean, there could be that could be a new experience if someone actually listened and didn't interrupt or
Exactly.
didn't tell them they were wrong or didn't try to negate their feelings. You were just
Yeah.
there. And that means so much.
That
So
is true.
thank you for that work that you do. And what would you leave our listeners with today as your most important piece of wisdom?
For me, like I said before, you can't be yourself by yourself. It's just not. And no matter how you think it's bad, it's never that bad. It's never that bad. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're breathing, the fact that you can talk with someone, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So I'll say just reach out to someone and start that conversation. Whatever you're envisioning for yourself, whatever you feel that you want to achieve in life, it is possible. But you have to start. And if you don't know how, ask. Because if you might not know how, but there are people out there who know how, who's waiting to help you.
Right,
So,
waiting. You're right. Whose
yeah.
life work is to help you, who want to
Yeah.
help you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Veronica, for
You are
sharing your
welcome.
wisdom and your great information with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jenny. And again, I would say to people is that the On Purpose Woman Group is so, it's one of those things that it has helped me lift myself up. It has helped me to be more of who I am because of the conversation and because of the space you hold that allow us to speak and share. So again, I invite others to just join, other women to just join. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that great applause, Veronica. I appreciate that. I'm so glad you're around. I really am. And I want to thank the rest of you for joining us
Okay.
on the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. If you love this interview and want to share with your friends, it will be up on our YouTube channel over the next 48 hours. So go over to On Purpose Woman Global Community on YouTube, subscribe and sign up for notifications. That way you won't miss any of these amazing conversations we have with real women who are living their life on purpose. Right now, there are close to 100 inspiring, informational, and fun shows for you to watch on our channel. We have 3 more conversations lined up for you for March and April. And on Monday, the 21st, next Monday, I'll talk with Rosalind Stewart on mentoring young people and making a difference. So thank you again for watching the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show.